the London stock market is making a very good gain. The FTSE 100 about 1.7%, leading the rest of the European markets this Friday. Again, the scare over coronavirus seemed to have doused a little bit. Of course, the Chinese are dealing with that at home as the base where all that virus started from. But let's get a bit of a more sense into the UK market. Juliana Olayinka, my colleague from our London studios. The UK had very positive manufacturing and services output data for today, reading better than expected, 52.4. This is a big story. Juliana, we'll talk about this in the morning. Let's have lunch over this very quickly before my panelists are angling to discuss Nigeria's central bank. I'm sure the BOE will have his own meeting next week. How's the market trading these very strong manufacturing data out of the UK despite the Brexit brouhaha?
Well, Bosun, we discussed it earlier this morning, didn't we? This better-than-expected data is a huge boost for Prime Minister Boris Johnson, especially because, of course, he's divorcing from the EU next week, Friday, so it's a 7-day countdown. And it really seems to be all of the analysts here in London are pointing towards his historic, monumental election victory. It seems as if after that, that business optimism was boosted, consumer confidence was regained. Just last week, we already saw as well that the labour market, the 3 months to January, had added an extra 208,000 jobs to the economy. So it all appears to be quite good now. 52.4 as well. That's a staggering figure, considering 50 is the point of whether anything below 50 is anything below 50 is a contraction. Anything above 50 is an expansion. So it does seem to see that the UK economy is recovering. Now, although the Bank of England Monetary Policy Committee meeting is next week, Thursday, just before we leave the EU, there are still some analysts that believe there is a chance that the MPC may cut interest rates. This time last week, the chance was 70%. That's been significantly decreased by 40%. So not likely, but still possible. At intraday, the all-share is up by 1.36%. The FTSE 100 up by 1.51%, and the FTSE 250 is up by 0.90%. In currencies, the pound is down on the dollar by 0.18%, down on the euro by 0.01%, and down on the Japanese yen by 0.13%.
Okay, Claire, let's ride this on the rail track with the high-speed rail project called the HS2. What's the latest on this project?
Well, HS2 bosses and the Department for Transport has really had a slapped wrist this afternoon. They've had the national audit come in and just really try and take stock of what is going on. It is an ambitious project. It is the most ambitious European transport project that's ever been undertaken, and it's apparently costing the British government £250 million a month. First projections for how much it was going to cost back in 2015 was about £52 billion. That's increased significantly to over £100 billion. And there are a lot of questions about whether or not the scheme will be scrapped altogether. Phase 1 is definitely going to take place. That takes commuters between London and Birmingham. That's already in place, and it's due to finish by 2026. Now, the second phase was going to extend to take people to Manchester and Leeds. And Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, has an issue here because, of course, that's the region that came out and voted for him in droves. And if he doesn't want to betray them by cutting them off from Westminster, he will need to continue with this project. But some people are questioning whether or not it's worth the time and all the money.
Interesting. It's been a very busy week for you, Juliana, so I've got to let you go at this point. Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend and lay back. You can just sit back in the office and watch the rest of my team here discuss Nigeria's monetary policy decision-making today. But